There's one beautiful incident in the life of Imam Ahmed Raza Khan rahmatullah that I want to mention. I mentioned earlier on that he had this love for anything associated with the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be it Medina, be it the Sunnah, be it the Ahl Bayt, the people, the Syeds, those people that have the lineage of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He had great respect for them, and there's so much we can talk about them. But there's one beautiful incident. Maybe some of our viewers have heard it before, but I think for those that haven't, and even for those that I have, you know, if we listen to this, inshallah, it'll hopefully increase the love that we should have for the Ahl Bayt as well. Because the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, teach your children the love of the Nabi, the love of the Ahl Bayt, and the love of the Quran. In the times of Allah Hazrat, the people, what they used to do is when people used to invite them to their houses, nowadays, you know, maybe the people come in their own mode of transport. In previous times, people would send a mode of transport. They would send a car there, they would send a carriage there, or whatever it was. At the time of Allah Hazrat, what they used to do is they used to send what is known as a palki. And a palki in the Urdu language is called a palquin in English. A palquin is basically two poles, and they make a bench and then they cover it. And sometimes you see it where what happens is people carry them on the shoulders, and so there's before people carrying this guest. And so this palquin arrived outside Allah Hazrat's house, and it was sent there because he was invited as a guest to someone's house. And Allah Hazrat, he came at the house, he got inside the palquin, and then the palquin was lifted. The palquin had only gone a few steps. The four people that were carrying him had gone a few steps. When Allah Hazrat from inside, he said, stop, lower me, put me down. So they stopped, lowered him, put him down. He got out and he looked at the four people that were carrying him. And he said, tell me the truth. Which one of you is a Sayyid? I can smell the beautiful smell of a Sayyid. Allahu Akbar. He had the ability to smell a Sayyid. Allahu Akbar. Which amongst you is a Sayyid? Which amongst you is a Sayyid? And one of them, he was a labourer, he said, Hazrat, you know, I am a Sayyid. I am a Sayyid. And as soon as he said that, Allah Hazrat's face changed, he went pale. It is said that he started crying, seeking forgiveness from this person. Please forgive me. That on the day of judgment, what will happen on the day of judgment when your Nana tells me that were my children born to carry you on their shoulders? How will I be able to face the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on that day? He took off his Imam Sharif and put it at the feet of this Sayyid worker, and he was so embarrassed and he was in tears, and there was a commotion. You can imagine, viewers of Madani Channel, that so many people had gathered there, you know, because obviously they're hearing what they said. And Allah Hazrat, he was the scholar of his time, he was the mujaddid of the time. So many people wanted to just see him. And so you can imagine that when he was leaving his house, probably a lot of people had gathered there. And they're all seeing that this has happened. And Allah Hazrat, you know, this worker, he was embarrassed by the situation. And he's saying, it's okay, Hazrat, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. Forget it. And he said, no. And Allah Hazrat insisted. He insisted that this Sayyid worker get inside the palquin. Allahu Akbar. And Allah Hazrat carry him himself. This is the love that he had for the Sayyids. This is the love that he had for the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The love that he had for the Sunnah of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
We love Madani Channel. We love Madani Channel. We love Madani Channel.